We're Black. We're curious.
Yes.
I'm Kandron.
What's up? It's your girl, Deja. And so that we don't forget, because one of our listeners said that she loves when we introduce what we're drinking.
Yes.
Your girl is traveling in a couple of days. So we just have this little bougie alkaline water with fruit.
Oh, wow. Okay. So I guess I'm going to be the lush of this program. I'm going to be the lush.
Listen, I'm going to New Orleans. I'm going to be drunk for a week.
I am having a blood orange mimosa plus. I'm calling this a mimosa plus because I have blood orange juice, but I also upped the ante with a little splash of Grand Marnier and some orange bitters. So this is a mimosa plus.
All right now. I'm not mad at that. Girl, that sounds delicious.
Yes.
Put this glass way up there.
It's very, very good. Oh, we're here today with the Loosie. Hi, friends. We are going to talk about Eboni K Williams. We have discussed her before. I am just now catching up with RHONY. This is my first season of RHONY. Now I want to go back because these ladies are crazy.
Listen, these hoes.
They big nutty. Like I thought, or I am a Housewives, like I love most of the franchises. I don't do Dallas and I haven't done RHONY. But I thought Orange County was nutty. These women are nutballs.
Yes.
So yes. I'm here for Eboni, and I have feelings about Eboni and how she is showing up on Housewives this season.
Okay, do share. I'm curious.
Okay. What I'm gonna say is gonna be a little problematic, but I'm going to try to explain myself. Okay. It's giving heavy-handed. The Black woman is giving heavy-handed. And I am all for having those conversations. And especially when you're in a group of white women, I'm all about having those conversations. But Eboni, I feel like, is doing them as a Black woman, I have to and like sometimes it's not even worth all that. So for instance, I'm a little bit behind, just full disclosure, but for instance, when she was down in whose house was that? Ramona's house, I think, is who they stayed at in the Hamptons. Ramona's house, she's in the basement. She and Leah are in hair and makeup. Nobody else is in hair and makeup. And she's like, as a Black woman, I have to just make sure that I'm presenting well every single time. And I'm just like, yes, but like this white lady is also down here getting her hair and makeup done. Like maybe you should just be like, girl, I have to make sure I'm snatched and pulled together. Like I don't feel like it always has to be so heavy-handed. And even with the she said something else. Like when she was talking about Ramona calling her house, I don't know how to she wasn't her housekeeper. She was like
the help,
house manager. Like when she called her the help, now that part I was like, okay, that was the time to be heavy-handed, to be like, listen, my family cleaned houses, so it is offensive to call people the help. It is offensive to call people the help. But the rest of the time, like some of the other times, it just feels like she is being kind of sanctimonious and like preachy. And it's taking away my housewife excitement and zeal. Like we've gotten to the point in the season, I think about halfway through, where I'm just like, come on, Eboni, like pull it together. Like we don't have to do this every time.
Yeah. I wonder if it's a thing of like, this is the first ever, because I used to watch the New York Housewives like eons ago. So this is the first person of color that is on this show, specifically first Black woman that is on this show or on that that particular cast. And it's a thing of like, I have to like school these women, like educate them on people of color thing, as much as maybe it's a thing of like, I want to be a representative for all of my brothers and sisters, and as opposed to just existing in the world as the Black woman that she is.
That's what I want her to do. I want her to show up and be a housewife and be Black. And like sometimes I think an occasion calls for it. Prime example, Garcelle is also the first housewife on Beverly Hills and Black housewife on Beverly Hills. And I love Beverly Hills. Beverly Hills is one of my tops. Okay. If I could get rid of, my top two probably right now is Potomac and Beverly Hills. But Garcelle, when Kyle had that conversation with her, or said on the reunion, like on the virtual reunion, she was like, oh, you pledged money to my charity and you didn't pay. And Garcelle was like, whoa. And then they opened up this season with her having a pointed conversation with Kyle, like, hey, this is an issue because Black people are accused of this kind of stuff. And it has a racial tinge to it. Like, it has that feeling. But in general, Garcelle just shows up and it's Garcelle.
Yeah, as she should be.
And it feels like I still don't think she fits in with the Beverly Hills Housewives, but I feel like that's for other reasons.
I feel like they need to add more color to the cast, and they did so by trying to add the Chinese woman, but she just comes off as super elitist and unpleasant, unfortunately.
I don't like her at all. I don't like her or Sutton, to be honest. And Sutton, I know they're at odds, but I'm on neither side. But anyways, these Black women on these white casts, I don't know. I just feel like Garcelle is just in the space and taking up space, and that is enough. And it's housewives of whatever franchise. Like, ain't nobody come here to be, And it was funny because before that, I watched an episode of Watch What Happens Live. I forget what it was after, and Andy asked someone how they liked Eboni on Housewives of New York, RHONY, and they were kind of like, I wish that it wasn't so politics. I come for Housewives for like a good time. And I hadn't gotten that far in the season yet. And I was kind of like, ew, that's a stank thing to say, but I kind of like low-key agree.
I wonder too, like if it's, because I almost feel like, not that I feel like Eboni is performative. I don't think that is the case at all. I think that she has a strong and polarizing personality. I think that her presence on this show is like, I'm on TV for the first time as like displaying my reality, who I am. And so the things that I identify as, if I'm speaking as Eboni, which clearly I can't, but the things that I identify as a Black woman who's highly educated and who is a lawyer and a law degree and has done like political commentating or whatever else have you. And if that is the persona that's being presented to us, like, it's almost in a conscious, unconscious effort.
It's giving contrived. It's giving that's what she's trying to give off. Like, I still don't feel like I know her, which is fine. Like, we don't have to know everybody's intimate details of their life, but like, I would have just liked to see her show up and cackle or have these different, and again, I'm not that far into the season. I'm not halfway through, I think. And I would just like to see her having these gatherings with her Black friends.
Right, that's what I was going to say. I think that's part of the problem.
Yeah, like she had her Black friend over watching the election and all of her, her sorority paraphernalia and stuff. So like it's giving like it's forced, And I would have preferred to see all her Black friends and like Leah over there cackling and talking about the election the way they did. Maybe not quite how they did in the group chat, but like kind of how they did in the group. Like I would take more joy out of that. And I feel like that's how, even though she's still not fitting in, it's a softer touch with Garcelle because she's just living her life and having these side moments with her girlfriends, her Black girlfriends or other girlfriends outside of the group. And then you're seeing her really shine. And I'm not getting that from Eboni yet. Everything is like, I'm going into this group of white women and I am going to tell them how to behave as better allies if that's what they're claiming to be.
Yeah, I hear that, but I think too that it's equally like, I'm gonna get these words together. The difference for me is that Garcelle strikes me as someone who has been in white circles for a really long time. and at the same time has her own Black community. So she doesn't, like, not that she's code switching anywhere, or not saying that Eboni's doing that either, but like, it just is what it is with Garcelle, right?
Here's my thing though, like this is sort of where I'm like, yeah, I can see that, but not really, because Eboni is an attorney.
Yeah.
Being an attorney means, even if you went to HBCU undergrad, and I don't know what her background is, but if you went to HBCU undergrad and you went to HBCU for a law school, the practice of law and just being a lawyer in the world means being in contact professionally with a lot of white people.
Yeah, but so I think
she knows how to finesse, and going to those events and doing the canoodling. She knows how to finesse the situation. Maybe she doesn't have, best girlfriends that are white in real life, but like, I don't know.
I feel like that's the thing though. Like how I show up with my white colleagues at work, even in like non-work settings, I still am very kind of like, I'm vastly different, I would say, than I would be in terms of comfort than I would be with my community and my friend group. And so I feel like that's the thing, like she's in this bubble with old white women who clearly, like, there is an edge of like non-openness, caring behavior. Like I don't know that I want to like jump on this hill here, but like, slightly probably prejudiced, racist somewhere in there. You know what I'm saying?
Listen, like, I just assume when I'm dealing with certain types of people, especially at a certain age level.
Yeah, and I think that's what she's doing, which is why she's showing like it this way.
But I just, it's heavy-handed for me as a Housewives lover and a lover of mess on my TV screen. It is not. I appreciate, though, I will say this, I appreciate when she's had different run-ins with people, even if it's not about race. I appreciate how she has talked through it with people. I really appreciate how thoughtful she has been in these conversations and breaking it down, and the patience she has exhibited with breaking these things down, because I don't know that I would have, but it's heavy-handed for me. It's giving heavy-handed.
Listen, there was another housemate, or I don't know, I think she's maybe not a housemate, but a friend of the show, Rashawn Shaw, who comes in a couple of episodes into the season. And I think that was also part of the conversation where Rashawn was just kind of saying the same thing that you're saying. Like, it doesn't have to be all of this.
Yeah, just my thing is like, I just show up as who I am. And sometimes I do make some off-color jokes to like my coworkers and stuff to make it clear, like, I'm Black and I can't do that. Like, I have a particular coworker that I'm thinking of, and he's a white guy and he's always saying wild stuff like, oh, I just did da da da. I was just like, they gonna slap you on the wrist and they gonna slap me in some cuffs. Absolutely not doing that. Like, I'm not doing that. Like, I'm very clear, and I make those type of jokes to be clear, like, hey, we are different, and like, I am a Black person and I'm showing up in this space as Black, and I say that type of stuff for that purpose.
Yeah.
But I'm not having to say, well, as a Black woman, I would. I'm just like,
child, bye.
You don't have
to do all of that. But like, what if that is who she is? Because like, I mean,
I don't get the feeling that that's who she is. Like, I really don't.
So like, okay, we listened to her podcast, and I see the space, and I
like her podcast.
I do too, but my experience of her is that, I don't know, like, I feel like I like Eboni, right? I genuinely like her, but I feel like is she just a little dry? Maybe.
I can see that, because even I saw her on Watch What Happens Live, and it was very like, she's not she's just not like quick and quippy. Like I like my housewives, you know, like I like my housewives just like.
What is this number you're doing?
Quick, I'm snapping, quick. You know, like I like quick, I like snappy and witty. That's why I like Giselle, even though she's a hater. I love Giselle.
No, ain't even witty and snappy. She ain't none of them things.
I think she is.
That bitch is slow.
When she said no, when she is in conflict with people, she says funny stuff.
She does say funny stuff,
yes.
But like, hello, I think all that should be rehearsed with Giselle. Like,
maybe, but it's funny. That's my point. Like, I like a girl. I don't like, if that's the same thing I'm saying about Sutton and Crystal. I'm like, this is really over. Y'all are being heavy-handed with this. Like, I like a housewife who's just going to give it back to you, like jab you back. And and maybe that's just not her personality. Maybe she's just more like kind of cut and dry and like it's either this or that. And she just doesn't have a housewife's personality.
I don't know that it's that. I feel like in the stuff that I've seen, I'm a little further along in the journey with the RHONY, but I don't watch it full time. I only watch like here and there. But right. So I feel like she gives you the quick, but it's like, oh, let me yoke you up real quick. It's not no like soft, like back and forth, whatever. It's usually like, oh, bitch, I'm finna check you.
Yeah, exactly. That's my point. It's like, it's always very like, I have to gather you, white lady. Like it's always
exactly.
That. And I'm like, yes, but like
we need some more of the comedy. Cause like when she was
gotta have some comedy.
She was on another podcast that I listened to, Horrible Decisions. And the conversation they were having on that show, I was like, damn, she's actually really funny. But like, she's funny on her own podcast, but on that particular show, I think it was the personalities in the room that allowed her to kind of open up and be the Eboni that she probably is like in her own personal circles.
Right.
I'll see if I can send you, I don't remember what the name of it was, but I'll see if I can find it and send it to you so that you can
send it to me. I listened to a snippet. That's not my favorite podcast. I don't like it's
a whole lot going on Horrible Decisions.
No, it's not even that. It's like I think I'm really sensitive to like sound, so I think it's like the cadence of one of the host voices that it drives me nuts.
I'm sure we're on the same page.
Yeah. So I couldn't get through it, but I did listen to a snippet of it. Either way, it was just, I want her to like lighten up. And sometimes it calls for a heavy hand, but sometimes it doesn't. And I think she is being heavy-handed across the board for me. In my taste, in housewife.
Yeah. I said that I feel like she's dry. I don't know that I really feel that she's dry. I don't think Eboni is dry. I just think that the environment that she's in, I think you know what, this is what it is. The damn RHONY housewives are like, that would have been really bad to say, but they are dry. I want to say something else.
I would agree with that too. Like as a whole, from what I've seen so far, they aren't a quippy, funny bunch. They're just kind of a mess.
Yeah.
And
like when Bethany Frankel was on though, that chick would have me cracking the hell up because she was quippy and quick and like would say anything and didn't care, which is probably why she got along with like all the housewives in Atlanta. And then when Potomac came, because she was still a part of the show at that time. But she got sick of their foolishness. I think she left last year or the year before last.
Yeah.
So I almost feel like adding Eboni was an attempt to bring in a personality similar to Bethany Frankel's.
Okay, maybe.
If you watch them first seasons, that bitch is funny.
Yeah. And I mean, like I said, I think there are times when she's a good time and I enjoy her on the show, but literally like once an episode, I'm like,
girl, give us a break.
Again.
I don't know. I almost feel like she's like the first, like, you know how you have, like, for example, I'm the first to be highly educated in my family. And so because of that, I'm like the great hope in the family. And so like, she's the first Black woman to really be a full-time cast member on this show. Like Brashawn is a friend of the show, so she was never introduced until
I think she was supposed to be a full-time cast member. Brashawn.
Several. I didn't know. Like several episodes in, and even still, I only knew that she was on the show because I think Eboni talked about it on her podcast, and then I saw when she was introduced, and I was like, oh, okay.
No, I heard about it before. I heard about it that when the news started circulating that Eboni was going to be on the show, it was supposed to be Eboni and Brashawn as the new housewives. So I don't know what happened as to why Brashawn didn't end up.
She didn't test well. Like, you know how they'll cut you out in a minute. She probably filmed a lot, and then they were like,
Probably. Probably. So anyways, those are my thoughts on Eboni on Housewives.
This face. I thought you was gonna say something else. So I'm just waiting. I didn't even interject.
No, it's not.
I feel like for me. I feel like Eboni needs to be on Potomac. But like it's the Black cast. So she would be probably really, really funny on Potomac.
I could see that. She probably would be very funny on Potomac. But
okay, so let's play that game. Which housewives would you switch around to what franchises?
I'm trying to think, is there anybody that really needs to move? I would probably add Giselle to Atlanta. I think she fits in with that cast better than Potomac. Because she's fighting to be the Grand Dame and she's not. Like Karen is just the Grand Dame. So you just like, have to be like she's ending up being like the court jester. But which is a good time. It's a good time, but it's not Grand Dame.
Not the court jester. I am dead. You are crazy.
She's a good time, but she's not the Grand Dame. I would probably put her on Atlanta.
I would put Giselle on Married to Medicine. Even though she's not married to medicine, but hell, half of the women ain't married to medicine.
No, they all are.
Oh wait, are they?
They all are. Married to Med does not play that. They're either married.
Oh, you're right.
Or they're the doctor.
Yes, you're right. I forgot. What you call is the only one that is no longer married, which is why they keep trying to boo her off the show.
Quad, but she's like a friend to the show now. Like she doesn't have a actual whatever stethoscope or whatever the hell they have.
But I say I would put her on that series because the last season she came to the table and was asking Lisa Nicole about her wayward dick ass husband. And I was like, girl, she came ready, just like stirring the pot immediately.
I don't know why they're trying to give Lisa Nicole back to us. We don't want her back. We don't.
And her husband don't even want to be on the show anyway, so it's hard for you to be a part of Married to Medicine and your spouse is not going to be there. I think that's one of the stipulations. Yes.
I have feelings about Toya. I don't know if I've expressed them here yet, but I would probably put Toya on Housewives of Atlanta because or Quad. Quad would be good on Housewives of Atlanta too. I would put either one or both of them on Married to Med because without being too terrible, I will say some of Toya's arguments and stuff are very like Housewives of New Jersey Teresa-esque. And it's like, girl, all right, I'm just going to have to say it. I'm going to share. Okay, I don't think that some of her arguments and the things that she gets riled up about are very intelligent. And I feel she brings the IQ of the show down. There, I said it. So she should go be with the other broads.
The dummies.
On Housewives of
with Portia and them who thought that the Underground Railroad was the real railroad.
With Portia and them. Yes, with Portia and them. She would fit right in. Lisa Rinna on the West Coast. Lisa Rinna, I want her to be on what do you call that? OC. I think she's a better fit for OC.
Does OC even exist anymore?
It does, and it's boring and dry. So I think Fancy Pants, Heather Dubrow, who was my favorite OC housewife, like ever.
She was like, bye, I'm done.
Heather Dubrow I think she's coming back.
She's funny.
Oh, I love her. I'm excited.
And her husband was funny too. I enjoyed them on the show.
And he has his own show, which he's funny on too.
With one of the Beverly Hills housewives ex-husband.
Yeah, Nassif, Dr. Nassif. They do Botched, which I like.
Yeah, I love Botched.
I don't know. Lisa Rinna doesn't. I don't know. Lisa Rinna gets on my nerves, just to be honest. And
Rinna could be on Dallas.
Yeah, I don't watch Dallas, so I don't know.
I can see her on the OC. Girl, they're bringing back, well, allegedly, I don't know if this is true, but they're supposed to be bringing back Miami Housewives. And if they bring back, if we could create the cast, right? And and sidebar, this conversation, if y'all take our ideas, we need to get credit. But what's her face was going through the turmoil on Beverly Hills right now, blonde hair.
Oh,
Erica Jane. Erica Jane should be on Miami.
Who's my favorite?
She should be on Miami. I would love to see it. I would put the new Housewives series that's out there in Utah.
Oh God, I forgot about them bitches.
I would put the Hawaiian girl on the Atlanta cast.
Well, she can't go nowhere because she's on paper.
She's going to jail. But still, I would put her on the Atlanta cast because
they would chew her up and spit her out.
But she need to be over there because she on a cast with a whole bunch of white women that don't seem to understand people of color and are very dismissive of her POC-ness. And so but she's also obnoxious.
I'm not a Jen Shah fan. I'm not. I thought I was.
I ain't either.
She just gives me a lot of this.
Mm-hmm.
It's just big reaction flying all over the place for little to no reason.
What's the black girl's name that was on there that's married to her granddaughter?
Oh, Jesus Christ. No, she's dumb.
She is dumb, but I would put her on Potomac. Homegirl is funny to me.
She is funny. Mary is funny. She's just not bright. We can throw her on Potomac.
I mean,
she would be a good foil for Karen, actually.
What'd you say?
She would be a good foil for Karen, I feel like.
Exactly. And at least she would not be boring. We could replace Robin with what's her name, Mary?
I secretly like Robin. I know that that's an unpopular opinion, but you got to have one person that's a breather, and she's the breather to me. Like, she's
the what?
Everybody can't be big in a mess. Some people just need to be kind of regular so you can take a deep breath in between scenes.
I mean, I feel you, but Robin is doing a disservice to all the fire signs in the world. She is just so dry. And I'm like,
I like Robin.
Whenever she comes in with she's had some one-liner moments or some quick get with you, but usually Robin is just I feel like Robin, every scene that she's in, she has smoked an L before she got there. Cause I
love it. I love it. I love it. She's just whatever.
And she always late.
Yeah, I like it. I love it. I like her better when she's having friendships outside of Giselle. I will say that. I like her better outside of Giselle, but yeah. I think that's what I would do for the different series. I
would put Nene on New York.
Yes. I like that a lot. Nene would gather the girls and make it fun.
Mm-hmm. She needs to come back.
I will say, Wendy Williams was saying on Watch What Happens Live one episode that she wants to be a friend to the show on Miami. She's been trying to get Andy to bring Miami back and be a friend to the show. She was like, I would never be on full time, but I would love to be the friend that calls in and and start shit and then canoodles with the girls, goes down to Miami every now and again, and you see Wendy at the table having a toast and a drink.
Girl, I mean, that's good money, Wendy. You need to do that, sis.
Well, I feel like she was trying to finesse that when she had Nene, but then her and Nene fell out, because you remember that season, Nene was always calling Wendy.
Mm-hmm.
So I feel like that's what she was trying to finesse, but then her and Nene fell out. So
I believe that the Miami thing is legitimate though, because also Larsa Pippen talked about it and she was on the original Miami cast.
Oh, I didn't know that. I didn't watch Miami. I wasn't very interested.
I was all of it.
But there was I really love Watch What Happens Live because that's where you get the real tea. There was a Watch What Happens Live episode where he did former housewives.
Yeah.
And so it was like somebody from Atlanta. It was Phaedra. There was somebody. There was a bunch of other people, but I don't remember any of them other than I think it was Gretchen from OC and Phaedra. And,
Gretchen was my favorite from OC.
Not for me. I was kind of iffy on her. But the housewife of Miami was like, he was like, well, do you miss it? And all the other women were like, no. And she was like, yes, I do. So maybe he's trying to get her on it too, get in the mix.
Who?
I don't remember who it was. Because I didn't watch Miami, so I don't remember.
I remember us talking about Miami back in the day because of that. I forget what her name was, but she owned the PR firm and her mother was Cuban, but her mom looked like she had a whole lot of work done. And we used to be cracking up talking about how the mother was talking about all the gringos. You don't remember that?
We may have.
Because it was only 2 seasons that they had.
No, we may have talked about it generally, but I didn't watch Miami Housewives. I didn't watch Housewives of Miami. I never did.
Oh, I thought you were watching them for real, because that show used to have me down. I hope her mother is still living, but that little lady was.
No, she's not. She died.
Oh, that makes me.
I found out about it on Watch What Happens Live.
I loved her. She was so funny.
Yeah. So, anyways, that took a detour, but
I mean, this is like a Loosie about Eboni and the Housewives franchise. So there you go.
The Housewives Universe. So anyways, follow us everywhere. You can follow us Black and Curious on YouTube and Instagram. Yes. And then on Twitter, Black and Curious, where I'd sometimes live tweet or delayed tweet, but still tweet about different shows while I'm watching them, which is sometimes a good time. Usually it's a good time. And like, comment, and subscribe for more of this stuff. And let us know what you think about Eboni on this season of Housewives of New York.
Oh, yeah, for sure. Also, I would add, let us know what else you're watching or what you want to hear us commentate on in regards to the RHONY, or not RHONY, but the Housewives Universe, because these are fun. So until next time. Bye.